As an American, I eat apple pie, play baseball under its blue skies. As an American, I travel this land and follow her roads wherever I can. From sea to shining sea, I've seen a lot, and none of it will be forgot. And when my country called, I gave my all as an American. I was born into freedom in a wonderful land of mountains and plains, rivers and lakes. Forever American is what I am. A past as rich as any can be. My father's worked hard to give this to me. I love this place I come from. To live another way I cannot foresee. As an American,
Hello. How you guys doing tonight? Hi, Alex. Hi, Nana. I don't see anybody else in here yet, but I'm guessing they're coming. Welcome to Real News Live as we get going tonight. Hi, Debbie Martin. Hello. Give it a couple minutes for people to get in here. A lot of stuff happening today. And I hope you guys are ready because America is under attack. I hate saying that, but we are. You know what happened between yesterday and today, and the stuff unfolding day by day. It's getting worse. It's not getting any easier. Hi, Tia. Hi, Pam. Hi, Gina. Make sure you hit that share button out there, and make sure you let anybody know that used to be on our page to let them know we have a new page to unfollow the old page for now, so we can get that situated. Protests, of course, breaking out in California. Just the latest stop. Around 50 people arriving in Port of Oakland, where a military ship reportedly destined for Israel was docked. Protesters climbed on board of the vessel. Yes, they climbed on board of a military vessel. Just imagine that. That's how ridiculous this is. Protesters climbed on board a military vessel and Friday, today, in California, trying to prevent it from leaving the docks for Israel, loaded with supplies. Now, the ship, in fact, was empty, but they were saying they were trying to prevent it from leaving to go from the dock with supplies to Israel. But of course, this wasn't even that ship. It was a military vessel, though. A military vessel. Just ridiculous that they boarded. These people should not just be tried like the people on January 6th. They should be taken and locked away in a dungeon of prison somewhere. You do not board a military vessel. This is in Port of Oakland. You do not board any kind of military vessel without direct permission. Not even if you're a sailor at that rate, much less a citizen. This is ridiculous. I mean, this video, of course, of these people boarding this vessel, just disgusting. Absolutely disgusting. As American citizens, I mean, I can't even believe that 50 protesters were able to be present and able to climb up, reach one of the hatches on the side of the ship. This is ridiculous, honestly. And this is just the beginning. Of course, you guys probably heard about this by now, but a car crashed through the gates of a South Carolina nuclear plant before the barricades, of course, popped up, stopping it. A driver tried to crash through the gates of a South Carolina nuclear plant last night, an hour after security asked the same car to leave when it tried to enter. Driver backed up, He tried to drive down the dirt road of Duke Energy's and tried to block him. The driver then hit a guard, drove through the fence off the nuclear property. He drove a short distance from the plant, turned down the driveway where the homeowner fired warning shots. The same car showed up an hour before trying to cast trash through the gates. The driver was asked to leave. Investigators now looking to speak to the 66-year-old Arkansas man about the crash and calling him a person of interest. He is not a person of interest. He is a domestic terrorist trying to enter, just like these other people that try to go on a military vessel. They're domestic terrorists. You don't need evidence at this point. You try to go on a nuclear power plant base, acting erratic, in times like this. This is ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. This, of course, unfolding just all happening at once, yesterday and today. Multiple other events are likely to unfold in coming days, especially after the speech we heard, of course, the Hezbollah leader threatening of escalations with Israel as it rages war with Hamas rages on. Of course, their leader said that the direct threat is not Israel. He declared war on Israel, but their real target is elsewhere, is his exact words. Cruise missiles won't hurt Israel much. The compliant region democracy, ridiculousness. Airstrikes, of course, Israel attacks on Gaza continue unabated. And the Hamas fighters are getting modest armed support from Lebanon-based Hezbollah at this point, we know. Some unexpected allies have stepped up to help Palestine armed groups, such as North Korea, which is very concerning, because North Korea could easily send nuclear weapons at this point. This is going to be a huge problem. Just a few days ago, I successfully predicted that this was going to go out of control. Now, U.S. Navy, of course, all firing missiles or trying to intercept missiles from Yemen's terrorist group there. The Iron Dome is not even able to stop them at this point. Iron Dome defense system is basically, they're low on projectiles. Now we're seeing drones and missiles coming in, cruise missiles, hitting in Israel. And this is scary because right now we know they're trying to target nuclear power plants and 2 nuclear centrifuges. Yeah, we don't have any protection. We're sending vessels to the other side of the ocean, the ones protecting our borders. Watching this all unfold, the Hezbollah leader, everything else happening. I mean, UN officials are saying that the conditions in Gaza, the Gazanians living on less than 2 pieces of bread a day, no water. I mean, I understand this is a true humanitarian crisis, but if Israel keeps this up, they're going to make it a world crisis. Yeah, 60% at best. And they're running extremely low on intercept missiles at this point. It's absolutely crazy. You were right. But of course, people screaming in the streets for water, as the UN agency, of course, for Palestine refugees visited. The UN, of course, visited Palestine refugees today. And amongst the visit, who would have guessed what was going to happen? Israel airstruck ambulances, killing 15 people, injuring 60. This, of course, I put in chat earlier today in the messages. Israel airstrike on ambulance convoy near the Al-Shifa hospital, besieged Gaza Strip that killed 15 people and injured 60 more. These people were being evacuated from a hospital in southern Gaza to the Rafiki border crossing with Egypt. when it was targeted in an airstrike by Israel. And this, of course, happened after the speech the Hamas leader gave, or Hezbollah. Hezbollah hasn't unleashed any missiles yet. Just wait. If Hezbollah gets involved, we are all in trouble. These victims, these people that were being evacuated, with the Red Cross crescents on these vehicles, the whole world's seeing this now. Those victims were lined up in ambulances. This was a medical convoy. This was beyond an act of desperation or aggression. This was outright murder. This wasn't a conflict of war. Israel can't say they did it by accident. Bombing a civilian Red Crescent of ambulances, killing lots of people. I mean, it's sickening. These people were in the southern district of Gaza. Watching this unfold, the utter shock of the reports of the attack on the ambulance and on evacuating patients. Of course, these patients weren't able to be properly cared for in Gaza anymore because they no longer have supplies. So Egypt was going to take them. Bad guys are going to move in. And at this point, even Joe Biden today, after this happened, I don't know if this went public yet, but it's going to. Joe Biden threatened to abandon Israel today as the death tolls in Gaza Strip skyrocketed. Biden warning Israel that U.S. support for its war against Hamas is waning. Joe Biden's top advisor has warned Israel that mounting civilian deaths in Gaza eroding U.S. support against the war on Hamas. At the same time, we approved $14 billion or $16 billion, I don't even know how much it was today, to go to Israel. So we're officially funding these people no matter what they're doing. I condemn it all. I try not to pick sides. I mean, we're looking at just the facts. What happened today was uncalled for. Extremely uncalled for. I mean, it wasn't a question of what happened today. The Congress, yes, approved the funding today. But it doesn't matter what people are trying to say the story was with this bombing today. It was being live broadcast when this happened. There are reporters involved in this today, this transport of patients into Egypt. So it's not like we don't have video, we don't have images. There is obvious of what happened. It's not a question. I would show pictures and I would show video, but it is gruesome. One of the reporters there that was there covering this with the Red Cross got killed in this event. Meanwhile, the cameraman survived. The anchor broke out on air. This was live streamed. It was live on TV as it happened. The anchor on television as the bombs hit, and she watched one of her fellow people out there reporting on the issue getting killed. Is just extremely tragic. And it's happening on both sides. I'm not saying it's not. This was an actual barbaric action. And this is what people are going to be looking at for the next weeks, next months, no matter what happens at this point. I mean, so far we know at least 30,000 people that have been wounded or killed by Israel's bombardment. Those numbers are not in question. Those are the numbers Israel is projecting. And if Hezbollah gets involved, you think about last time Hezbollah actually fought, they only had 1,000 fighters at that time. Hezbollah now has 40-something thousand fighters. No, Hamas has 40-something thousand. Hezbollah has a couple 100,000 now. Last time they fought with Israel, Hezbollah did. they only had 10 or 1,000 fighters, and they went up against, I think it was 10,000 Israeli forces, and Israel got their asses handed to them 1,000 or 10-1. This is playing, terrorists right into their hand. The PR coming out of this is terrible. And not only that, after this happened today, Israel deported thousands of Palestinians back to Gaza's war zone. After this event unfolded today, after the call, thousands of Palestinian workers were deported back to the Gaza Strip to the besieged territories. So they're sending people back with nothing. Roughly 18,000 Palestinians got deported today back into Gaza. 18,000 people they're sending back into nothing. We don't see a problem. This is literally leading right in what Hezbollah, of course, threatened today, stating that, of course, if Israel did not stop its fight against the people in Palestine, instead of the attacks, and it's engaging in unprecedented fighting, that further escalations in the Israel war with Hamas will become stronger. The United States, of course, Israel's strongest backer, has warned Hezbollah and its partner Iran against entering the fray as it sends warships to the Mediterranean. A move, of course, saying that they're saying it's not scaring them. Well, I'm not surprised at this point. Saying that the fighting would not be limited to the scale seen so far, and that Hamas rockets across the border daily, mainly hitting targets in northern Israel, sustained assault capabilities hitting everywhere in Israel, and thousands of battle-hardened fighters are ready to go in. This is Hamas saying this. And Hezbollah joining in this rhetoric and this speech that they gave today. The Shireen speech broadcast video link on a massive messages across the Middle East, urging protection for citizens that are fighting in the fighting with Hamas. And then Israel just goes and bombs civilian right after this message got done. Right after it. Right after this message got played, Israel decided to attack a line of ambulances, a convoy of ambulances heading to the border with Egypt. And Egypt was going to take these people in to treat them medically. The hatred for darkness is upon us at this point. There's no turning back. There's no light at the end of the tunnel of this. I don't know if you guys know what passed yesterday in the House Resolution 559. Of course, I'll read it to you, a little brief, quick notes of it. Declaring the policy of the United States that a nuclear Islamic Republic of Iran is not acceptable. Wherein, if Iran possesses a nuclear weapon, it would be an unacceptable threat to the region and global security. If Iran continues to enrich stockpile uranium far exceeds the set under United Nations Security Council resolution, which is ridiculous because they're not part of the UN, or the atomic industry, saying that Iran continues to enrich uranium 60% purity. Basically, this is a document of war, stating that if they find anything that violates this, that violates any of these resolutions, like the 60% purity resolution and all that, that I give the United States to go in full force into Iran. Now, I just said that, right? It shows, what's actually, this bill was pushed through yesterday. It wasn't publicly announced it was pushed through. But I'll tell you this. The IAEA investigators found uranium particles enriched to 83% back in January of this year. So we know that they already had uranium above this limit that we set up, a 60% purity limit that we set now. And if they violate that, then we're going to attack them. So the reason the ships are over there in the Middle East is because Iran's going to get attacked and Iran's going to fight back. I hate to say that, but the Middle East is turning against us faster than ever. And we sent all those ships over there, obviously, for a reason. A bill like this would not be pushed through the House and the Senate so quick that nobody even realized it happened. Knowing that the statistical data of the investigating agencies that they even relate to the 60% purity, that if it's violated, that we will have to attack. We already know that they're at 83.7%. So basically, we're saying we're going to make a bill that makes it law that we have to go and take care of this issue if we have any knowledge of them possessing dangerous nuclear material or knowledge at that point. So basically, this is a declaration that's going to bring us to war in the forefront as the coming days unfold. I thought this was ridiculous, even seeing this happen. We already see it. Of course, Iran sending units now into Lebanon to join the war for Israel. It's not a question, or for Palestine. Israel military officials, of course, know that an elite Iran-backed unit has arrived in Lebanon to participate in attacks on Israel amongst the ongoing war in Gaza Strip. This happened, of course, last night. We got this information early this morning in their time. This is crazy. Yeah. Missing trains of ammonium nitrate. We're not even talking about Russia yet or North Korea. North Korea, of course, leaders ordering the officials to support Palestine in the Israel-Hamas war, considering or selling weapons to terrorist groups in the Middle East, not taking nuclear weapons off the table. I want to repeat that. North Korea is willing to sell weapons to the Middle East, to terrorist groups, not taking nuclear weapons off the table. You know, countries that have nuclear weapons, they a little bit hold backish when they fire. If you sell a nuclear weapon to Hamas, you think they're going to hold back on using it? You think a terrorist organization is going to not use massive weapons or weapons of mass destruction? Nobody's paying attention what's happening. The Middle East is going crazy. Right now, Syria, there's multiple refuelers in the air right now. You can look it on Flight 24 or whatever service you use, but you can see those aerial refuelers in the air. U.S. aerial refuelers in the air, so they're going to strike someone. Don't know when it's going to happen. There's no states in the United States mailing out yet ion tablets. There's countries, of course, in Europe that are already doing this for all citizens. The problem is the United States only has like 400 million doses, and that's about enough for a million people for a year. I hate to say that. Number sounds a lot, but it's not. Russia stepping up, of course, its aerial barrage in Ukraine. As Kiev officials brace for the attacks on infrastructure, hitting hard, Russia is. They're not slowing down at all either. Sending, of course, weapons to south, or to the Middle East as well. Sending weapons south. Russia's unleashed a wave of nightmarish drones and missile attacks across 10 regions of Ukraine, or across 24 regions of Ukraine, today. As winter is starting, infrastructure bombardments across the whole of Ukraine are happening by Kremlin forces. Ukrainian Air Force said it intercepted something of 24 to 38 Shahed drones and one KH-59 cruise missile. They only intercepted one of the cruise missiles that were launched. Biden bought 400 million doses. That's for the elites. Those are for the elites. But Russia taking down power lines, power grids again, chipping away at the country's appetite for war. Of course, the outrage today from Zelensky is that nobody's supporting the war in Ukraine. Wait, we just sent $500 million again under the table. But nobody's supporting the war in Ukraine. I'm sorry, not $500 million. $425 million package. A little bit less than $500 million. I feel bad for Ukraine now. They didn't even get another $1 billion again. But Zelensky, of course, attacking the U.S. and other countries for not helping enough. Planned delivery of the F-16 fighter jets to Ukraine in the first part of next year might improve Kiev's military might. But at this point, Ukraine doesn't even have any fighters left. So what equipment or what money are they going to do? Just crazy. Watching this unfold, people be ready. Putin, of course, is also declaring Poland as a dangerous enemy and warns it could lose its statehood today. That's right. The Russian-Polish relationships have faltered to a heavy state of discontent today. Stark threat to Poland directly by the chairman or the deputy chairman of Russia's Security Council, calling them a dangerous enemy and is on course to losing its statehood. It's not good. The UN, of course, already in shambles because everything that's unfolding at once, we don't have enough troops to do anything. The Americans don't, let's be honest. So we're going to fight a war in the Middle East? Are we going to fight a war with Russia? Are we going to fight a war for NATO? Are we going to fight a war for Asia? Where are we going to fight a war at? We already know they're planning on going to Iran. They wouldn't make a bill and pass it this quickly. They just wouldn't. It doesn't happen that way. Especially not a 4-page or 3-page bill. Sorry. The bill is all of 3 pages. Literally. 3 pages. And it only includes the talk of war with Iran over nuclear weapons, nuclear knowledge. Wake up, people. Well, unless you're in a radiation zone. You don't want to take that much iodine tablets unless you're in a radiation zone. Let me say this. Do not take radiation tablets unless you've been exposed, or potassium iodine tablets unless you've been exposed, or have to take a daily dosage because you're in a radiation zone. Very important. Potassium and iodine, or iodine itself entering your bloodstream in a greater amount, is actually poisonous. So having too much in your system is dangerous unless it's trying to counteract radiation. I want to say that again. I know because a lot of people are stockpiling stuff. They need to understand this. Do not take over recommended dosage. I think 140 milligrams a day is a recommended dosage, or 160, I think now. It might be 160. 160 milligrams a day is a recommended dosage for people that are adults over 150 pounds. Anybody less than that is 1 tablet a day for no longer than 2 weeks. 14-day cycles when exposed. And if you have to live within an exposed area, that table goes out the window and you have to be very careful. And I would actually get a chart. You would have to get a chart and follow the chart clearly. If you to live in an area that's irradiated or have to travel through irradiated areas, that's a whole different story. You have to follow the medical charts very precisely because you can easily overdose, and that's just as bad as not taking anything. God bless you guys. Thank you guys for being here. Be safe, be sound, be ready at this point because it's happening. Whether we like it or not, the shit is going down. You can see American citizens already turning on their own government, trying to board military vessels, trying to enter nuclear power plants. This is crazy. Absolutely crazy. God bless you guys. Stay safe. And when you're taking iodine tablets, if you're using iodized salt, please only take half of recommended dosage, even if you're exposed. I want to make sure I said that because I always forget. If you're eating iodized salts, only take half of a recommended dosage, even if you were exposed. God bless you guys. God bless America at this point. Be prepared. See you guys tomorrow night, or Monday night, actually, unless something happens, which chances are something will happen this weekend. I hate to say it. I'll be prepared to come live if something happens right away. So then be safe. We'll see you Monday night if nothing does happen.